There you go. Did you miss the big debate last night? Rudy Giuliani, come on over here.
No, I watched it twice, including I stayed up until 4 in the morning.
What do you mean you watched it twice?
4 in the morning?
You were live? You were there live.
You're damn right.
And then you watched it again?
Yeah, then I went home and I watched Lester Holt do Candy Crowley at least twice.
What did he do that you didn't like?
Well, the first thing he said was stop and frisk is unconstitutional. Well, it happens to be not unconstitutional. Terry versus the United States is the law of the land by the Supreme Court of the United States. It has never been reversed, and we do stop and frisk in New York and all over America.
It was struck down by one judge here in New York.
Not as unconstitutional as applied. In other words, it was being done incorrectly, according to the judge.
And it was being appealed, and this mayor decided not to appeal it.
Not only was it being appealed, the Court of Appeals of the Second Circuit had excoriated her, basically said she was wrong, entered an injunction against the enforcement of her order, and removed her from the case. Everything Donald said. And Holt went ahead and contradicted him.
And Donald Trump...
Ignorantly.
Donald Trump last night said it works. Stop and frisk works. And you said, was it the New York Times this morning had an article about how it does work?
I think it had to do with whether or not the murder rate had gone up or down. And apparently the murder rate in New York
had gone down dramatically after stop and frisk.
Of course it did. It went down 65%. But the thing that's wrong is Lester Holt said straight out, stop and frisk is unconstitutional. Lester Holt is not a lawyer. He's wrong. It was decided in 1959 by Earl Warren. It is still the law of the land. Every cop does stop and frisk in every part of America. And she said the same thing. Now, I'll give her an excuse because she failed the bar exam. But I'm not going to allow him to play lawyer and contradict our candidate. And I'd like to know, when did a moderator become a fact checker? And if you're going to be a fact checker, you better darn be right. You better go read the United States Supreme Court decision. Yeah. And you better go talk to Cavuto. And you better go talk to Hannity. And you better go talk
to... About what?
About whether he was opposed to the Iraq War. One of the reasons I was reluctant to support him was because he was against the Iraq War. I happen to be in favor of the Iraq War. I still am in favor of the Iraq War.
Rudy, what did you think about her performance last night?
I thought her performance was... I thought her performance was okay. I mean, she was just sort of programmed Hillary, everything you would expect. And I thought Donald's performance was excellent in the respect that he showed the American people he can be president. And I thought his restraint at the end was absolutely remarkable. At those terrible things she said about him in front of his daughter and his children, and his concern for saying terrible things about, we know what he would say about Bill Clinton. My God, the man disgraced the office of the United States presidency. And he got away with something where any chief executive would be fired, and she went ahead and attacked the victim for 6 months until the victim had the proof. And boy, they got caught in lie number 1012.
What does that have to do with Hillary?
She attacked Monica Lewinsky.
So that shows how you treat women.
Tell me you're a feminist. Tell me you're a feminist if you take money from countries that kill women. Tell me you're a feminist when you take millions of dollars from countries who assault women, who don't allow women to drive, who don't allow women equal rights. You go pose as a feminist? But look, that's up to the two of them. What I am offended by is Lester Holt interfering twice in the debate, saying that stop and frisk is not constitutional. Dead wrong. Hillary Clinton said the same thing. Dead wrong. Terry against the United States. Go read it. Written in 1958.
So you are fact-checking Lester Holt?
No, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a moderator who misrepresents on television. I'm a lawyer.
You're really angry about this.
Am I angry about it? I thought after Candy Crowley we saw the last of it. What Holt did last night, if journalism has ethics, if it has ethics, he violated the rules of ethics. Now, if you're going to interrupt and you're going to correct me in front of 100 million people, you better be right. He is dead wrong. First of all, a district judge cannot overrule the United States Supreme Court. Number two, she found it unconstitutional as applied, not unconstitutional. Hillary Clinton, as a former law student, should know the difference. Third, Donald Trump's description of what happened, including the judge being removed from the case, was totally correct.
You mentioned that at the very end of the debate, he kept his mouth shut and he didn't attack Hillary.
He didn't go there.
Right.
That will,
now,
he's a good man.
Now, by doing that, I know that his team was telling him, you know, you need to stay in control because you can't lose this debate. So he did that. Now we look at the polls this morning. He's ahead in most of the polls. So is he listening to Kellyanne? Is he saying
look, he's going to win the election, and he won the debate. I'm not here to argue about whether he won the debate or not. And if you want to think he lost the debate, you could think he lost the debate. I'm here to say that what Lester Holt did is completely unprofessional and totally unethical.
What was the second thing he did?
The second thing he did was Baghdad. He interrupted him twice and said, "Oh, no. I'm sorry, not Baghdad, but Iraq."
The Iraq War.
He said, you didn't say that you were opposed to the Iraq War beforehand. And he should have had enough energy to check the sources, including, I was on Neil Cavuto's show later, and I saw the tape.
Yeah.
And he opposed the Iraq War before the Iraq War. And he had Sean Hannity available, and about 20 of Donald's friends who could have been available to tell him that. Now, you can't do that unless you do the hard work of checking.
The thing is, there's got to be a way for him to get through the tax question, the birther question, and the Iraq War question, or else he's never going to make any progress in these debates. Whether it's a slick way of moving it through communications or not, these are three things where he spend way too much time on.
Well, okay, look, was he perfect? Was she perfect? No. Did he win the debate? Yes. But should a moderator tell you you're wrong? You're wrong. And the moderator didn't do his homework, and the moderator is wrong. Who's gonna fact check the moderator on Terry against the United States? Go read it. Written by none other than Earl Warren. It's an 8-1 decision of the Supreme Court. It is the law of the land. 100 million people last night were misled by Lester Holt and so-called lawyer Hillary Clinton.
All right. Rudy, thank you very much for getting up and coming on over after a 15-minute sleep. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor. Meanwhile, coming up straight ahead, Hillary Clinton has no problem calling Donald Trump a racist, and the rest of America as well.